All right, all right. Here we are again. I'm trying to make sure my Instagram is going live. There we go. All right. Sorry I'm late again, you guys. I'm going to get this right eventually. But maybe Fridays are a bit hectic for me sometimes, but I like the sound of Heart-Centered Fridays, so I wanted to try and keep it. I might have to change it to 7 p.m. on Fridays, so we'll see. I might do 7 p.m. next time. But at least instead of like last week, I did it on Sunday. This week I'm doing it on on Friday at least. But I wanted to get to you guys today because this topic is a controversial topic. Basically, the truth about religious programming. And so, first, what I want to do is I want to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to take 3 deep breaths together, and then we're going to set the intention for tonight. So, put your hand on your heart, and then in through your nose. And I already feel more expanded after that. I swear the deep breaths are you gotta, like, it's a must do type of thing. If you just set the intention to take deep breaths throughout your day, you actually reset your nervous system and you're not in fight or flight mode all day. So that's why I like to do it, especially when I'm at the beach with my feet in the sand. I can literally feel the because when you actually ground yourself in Mother Nature, studies actually show that it takes inflammation from your body. So tonight's intention, we're not here to attack religion. I don't like to talk down on anything or anyone anymore. I try and speak in the most positive way possible, but we are here to awaken the truth behind the programming that has kept so many of us disconnected from our inner authority and our true divine power. And so, just to tell you guys a little bit about my story and the religious programming that I grew up on, is my mom was a very religious. She was Korean Christian Baptist, and so she was super religious, super shame based, super fear based, super hypocritical, and just the way that she treated people was not was not what a Christian woman should, like, how they should treat people. You know, it was just all the fear, shame, and guilt. And like, she didn't want people to know about our life or what was going on in our life, and everything. It just had to look good on the outside. But on the inside, it really wasn't. And so, yes, I do have a very wounded past when it comes to religious programming, but there's a reason for that. It's the programming within itself that causes you to be in a low vibration: fear, shame, and guilt. Now, it doesn't do this for everyone. If it actually helps you rise up into a higher vibration, then that's good on you. And, you know, I don't have anything against people that claim a religion. It's just not something that I choose to claim anymore because of what I've been through when it comes to Christianity, and also what I've seen in my spiritual awakening as well. And so, just to tell you guys a little bit more too, because I'm very open, because I've done the inner work when it comes to a lot of these things I've been through in my childhood, like all my root wounds. I've done a lot of work on them, so they don't have the same like emotional charge. So basically, I was actually at 7 or 8 years old, I was molested by the pastor's son. And when I told my mother about it, she thought I was lying. And so that was just one example of, you know, the church, and just so many hypocritical things growing up. And not to mention, I feel like Christians tend to put this big, like, oh, you have to fear God, and how the Bible makes God out to be this angry person, and you have to angry deity. And they make it seem like you're going to be punished, you're going to be judged, this and that, and all this craziness to put you in this fear state, like, oh, I gotta be good. But then it's like you are actually depriving yourself of life. Like when I actually started to claim Christianity when I got older, because I did push it away when I was younger because of all the things I went through. And then going into the Marine Corps, there was a period of time where I was going to church religiously, and I claimed Christianity for a little while. But during that time, I'm still getting sleep paralysis, and there's like demons coming after me in my sleep paralysis states. And I'm like listening to all these Christian spiritual warfare things, like the demons are going to attack you and this and that. And that's something that was put into my head. And then I'm getting demons attacking me at night, and I'm not having sex. I'm not going to go out and have fun. Like I'm literally just depriving myself of life because I'm going to sit home and read the Bible, and I'm going to be a good Christian. And I know not all Christians probably do this, but it was just in my programming where it was passed down that was the Christianity that I came up with. It was super shame-based, fear-based, shame, fear, guilt, just all throughout my life. And so when I had my spiritual awakening back in January, I basically, through meditation, breath work, and a mantra, I just kind of like dove into it all. It was a movement mantra. I was doing it 3 times a day. And literally within those couple of days time, I was able to put myself in a natural euphoric state, no drugs, nothing like that. It was just breath work, meditation, mantra, and then I do a movement mantra as well. And it was by Joe Dispenza, and I was doing it, and literally like my whole body, I could feel the energy surging through me. I was able to feel, if anybody's ever watched near-death experiences or listened to near-death experiences, I strongly suggest you do if you haven't, because every single person that has, I probably listened to over 50 now, maybe close to 100. And the common theme in everybody's near-death experiences is the same thing I experienced in my awakening. And what it was I felt the unconditional love of the Creator, which is an energy. I call it source because we are all made out of energy, masculine and feminine energy. Every one of us has masculine and feminine energy within us. And our creator, our prime creator, is our main energy source. It's within everyone. Everything in creation, animals, plants, it is within all of us. And so what I witnessed in my awakening was I felt the unconditional love of source, like just wrapped in the blanket. And it's unlike anything you've ever felt on earth, because that's the thing that everyone is searching for here. Everyone is searching for love. Everyone wants to be loved, and no one is loved enough, because that's just how dense earth was made to be. And it was basically I remembered in my awakening that I basically chose my life. I chose my parents. I chose the experiences I was going to go through for my soul's expansion. And so I know that I chose all these hard things, dealing with a narcissistic mother, dealing with, later on, I didn't find out what my wounds were until I actually, ran into a narcissistic partner. I had a narcissist for a boss. And I know people do throw that word around a lot, but it's no joke. There's quite a few people that actually have the narcissistics. There's narcissistic traits, and then there's narcissistic personality disorders. which I'm going to have a whole nother live session on transcending the narcissist. So stay tuned for that in the future. I might do that next Friday. But basically, the unconditional, I felt in my awakening, the unconditional love of source. I felt, I remembered that I chose all these experiences to come here for my soul's expansion, to really learn self-love. Self-love was the true goal. And I'm still learning every day, like what my true, what my purpose is here. But I do know that I came here to learn self-love. And then I came here to be here during the Great Awakening, because it is a great awakening going on right now. I remember when I first heard of it in 2020, when COVID was going on, I basically was like, it was barely being talked about. And then when I went through my awakening experience this past January, I actually saw like I saw the world, and how now millions of people are starting to awaken and realize what's really going on here. All the programming, and religious programming is part of that. Whether, you want to believe it or not, it really is a part of it. And I know there are religious people that have good hearts and they're in it for the right reasons. But my question to you is, how often do you are you feeling guilt and shame or fear when it comes to this religion? Because the thing is, after my awakening, I was literally able to tell the difference between like my higher self or source talking to me versus my ego talking. And I was able to, it was able to teach me how to rewire my brain into not feeling guilt anymore, not feeling shame anymore. Like I rarely feel guilt or shame anymore. And when I do, I'm able to catch it. I'm conscious of it, and I'm able to catch it and be like, okay, why did I feel that? And I go through the motions on like why I felt that, getting to know myself more than anyone, because that is like, honestly, the most important person that you need to get to know is yourself, your true desires, because that's another thing. Desire is something that we were meant to have, something that the Creator created us for, because it's a high vibrational feeling. And so the religious program takes you out of your higher vibrations. And that's why I feel like the truth needs to be out there. It's not necessarily like, hey, you need to renounce your religions. I only did it because of the way, religion was very traumatic for me. And so I just couldn't, I couldn't get with any other religions, especially when I was in Christianity. The reason why I denounced Christianity was because I started doing research on the history of religion, and the fact that religion caused so many wars, the fact that you would have a Christian church sitting on top of slaves underneath, where they're getting treated like, they're getting treated like shit, like inhumane, and they're underneath a church. Like, it was just crazy to me when I saw that. And I was just like, okay, I can't get with Christianity anymore. And so I felt like I was on a journey, like trying to find my spirituality. So what is the truth? And so I found my spirituality through science, because science actually proves a lot of this stuff, and how we actually, our thoughts, feelings, and, thoughts, feelings, emotions, all create our reality. And a lot of us are creating our reality subconsciously, which I was creating my reality subconsciously for a while, until I figured out my subconscious patterns. And once you start creating your own reality consciously, that's when you're able to kind of see, the low vibrational feelings. And it's okay to feel the feelings, but what people's mistake is they ruminate in it. And that's how you get depression. That's how you get anxiety. Like, anxiety is ruminating about, worrying about the future. Depression is thinking too much about the past. And the thing is, all we ever have is now. And so we always, every single day, we have a chance to create a new reality for ourselves. And so this is part of why I feel like it's my, like mission to put the information out there, because I've learned so much in such a short amount of time. Like since January, I've literally gotten downloads of information, and then I'm led through synchronicities to all this other information. And really what you want to do is just take 80% of what resonates with you and then leave the rest. Like everybody is different. Everyone's going to have what resonates with them and what doesn't. And it being different is actually our strength. Like nobody should be fighting over. And that was another thing that religious programming does, is like you have all these religions saying, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. Like you're going to go to hell if you don't believe that Jesus died for your sins. And I'm like, look, Jesus is my homie. Okay. I love Jesus. I love what he taught, but a lot of what he actually taught, it's like people think it's impossible to be like Jesus, but he literally just transcended the things that, we're here to transcend. Any one of us can. We can. Dr. Samuel Lee talks about the 12-stranded DNA, and we all come in with, 4 or 5 that are activated. But when you can activate your Christ consciousness, and that's what, the Bible talks about the second coming in Christ. And my mom thinks, he's going to come from the heavens and come back and save people, and people are just going to shoot up. And this is not to make fun of religion, okay? It's not to make fun of it at all. But what I see is the Christ consciousness is coming into effect, because the goal is to bring heaven to earth. And it's possible, because when I was with religion, like the fact that you're so like tempted to do all these different things, you have to like seclude yourself. It's like, that's not even the right way to go about it. Because now that I've had this awakening, it's like easy to refrain from a lot of the things that I wasn't able to refrain from before, because it's a different process. It's an embodiment, and it's like a quantum, it's a quantum embodiment. You're basically embodying the person that you're trying to be, that you want to become. Actually, what you're really doing is you're deprogramming yourself from all the programming you came in on, including religious programming. And so some of the things that I can, just to give you a little bit of, I guess, a definition. So programming is energetic imprints on belief systems adopted unconsciously through fear, shame, and guilt. So some examples are God being outside of you. And God is not outside of you. Like God is within every single one of us, and we can always call upon that energy inside us. And that's why so many people are dating from their wounds. And I did it too. Dating from your wounds, where you're looking for the love from somebody else, when you're never going to get it from somebody else. You're going to get it from the energy within you. You have to tap in to that frequency of source energy. You have to tap into that frequency in order to feel it. Because ever since I've had this awakening, I was, so I had my awakening, and it was 2 months straight of me being on this spiritual high. I could literally see from the higher perspective of source, and I could see what, a lot of the stuff that we go through here is to teach us lessons. And so I was able to get downloads of speeches. I was giving dynamic speeches. I was having visions of me speaking on stages. And so all of these things, I'm like, okay, so I know I'm supposed to be speaking, and I know I'm supposed to be speaking on stages. And I've been doing that. I was, speaking to the wounded warriors. I was able to see the connection and how we are all connected. We're all one. And the energy that I had those times I would give the speeches, it would literally like spark something in people. People would start being more motivated and saying more motivating things. And I didn't even say a word yet. And then when I'd get to my speech, the energy would flow even more and make a big ripple effect. And so that was when I knew. I was like, oh, like I need to quit my job and go on to speaking. And so that's exactly what I did. And I've just been rolling since. So I ended up having to integrate, and now I'm literally, after my spiritual awakening, my intuition and my claircognizance, which is the ability to feel energy. I've always been claircognizant, not claircognizant. I just didn't know what it was. And so I've always been able to feel people's energy, and I would take it on as my own, even the negative energies. And so now I'm able to actually learn how to not take on other people's energy and, just stay sovereign. And so just the fact that religious programming teaches us that you must earn love or forgiveness, like you have to ask Jesus to forgive you of your sins, or I don't know. It's like, I swear, like pastors will talk about it, but it's all so like vague to me. Like, so it's like you have to ask him for forgiveness, but then people are still sinning. So how many times are you going to have to ask for forgiveness? It's like, it's so much easier this way, this spiritual route that I've taken, because I'm able to embody certain things to where I'm like, okay, I don't even have the desire. And the thing is, it's not about, so when it comes to sex, a lot of people are like, oh, well, wait till marriage, but it's not about waiting till marriage. What it is about is waiting till you actually find that person. You have to know what you really want in a person, which after you go through some people that you figure out what you don't do and don't want, you can write it down. You can't have an attachment to the who or when, because everything happens in divine timing and everything happens when it's meant to happen. So you are not going to miss out on anything that was meant for you. And then just another example is desire is sinful. So desiring is sinful, which the desire itself is not sinful. Like, the creator created desire and pleasure for a reason. Those are actually high vibrational feelings. And it's not about feeling guilt for having sex, even if you did it from your wounds. It's about learning from the situations. So I'm at a point now after my awakening where I haven't had sex, because I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for that person. I'm keeping my standards high, my desire. I know what I want in a man now. And I'm not tempted to just get that little bit of a connection. When in the past I might have been. And this is not to judge anybody that, goes and have sex, because everybody has their own journey. Everyone is on their journey. And I truly believe that shame or guilt, feeling the shame and guilt is actually worse than learning the lesson and moving on from it. So, all right. So love is unconditional. So true love is unconditional. And I felt this when I was wrapped in the unconditional love of Source. He is, I don't want to call him a he, because it is an energy, but it's an energy and a presence that you feel. And it's just so unconditional love that it doesn't matter anything that you ever did in your life, no matter how bad it is, like it still has that unconditional love for you. And that's why people have chances to come back and do it over again. If they didn't get it right the first time, it's like, well, I love my children so much that I'm not going to just damn everybody to hell. And so that's my thing with religion, is it's like, oh, if you sin, you're going to go to hell. You got to ask for forgiveness. And I'm just like, for me, I'm like, no, there's no hell. The hell is here. Basically dealing with all the things that we have to deal with here in order to get to that higher mind state, that higher frequency, that higher vibration. Because once you raise your vibration, you can actually start to feel that presence. Like now I'm finally getting back to a point, after that spiritual high, I had to do a lot of integration, a lot of shadow work, and a lot of things like that in order to get to where I'm at now, where I'm able to, if something happens, I know that everything is happening for me. So even if it seems crazy or bad at the time, I can ask like, okay, I know my soul chose this. I know that this is happening for me. So show me what it is that this is trying to teach me, please. And so we can always ask for help. They just can't interfere, with free will. And that's the thing. We do have free will choice. And so we can always ask for help. But it's not about begging, like praying. That's another thing. So my mom prayed for 30 years for my dad to change, and he was never going to change. So basically, it's not about begging for things outside of yourself. It's about commanding it in the here and now. And so I've learned a whole different way. I have prayers written down. I have different things that I am commanding into existence, because the God source energy is within us. We have to command ourselves in order to get the things that we truly want in life. We also have to do a lot of inner work. The thing that you don't want to do is face your demons, but that's how you actually integrate and create a better life for yourself. And so basically religion disconnects you from your power. The psychological and energetic effects. I've been learning a lot about energy. So shame-based self-worth, suppression of feminine energy and intuition. That's another thing that religion teaches, that women are supposed to, be submissive and all these different things that they say. They were trying to suppress the feminine energy and intuition, because intuition is one of our biggest superpowers. Our intuition and our body are always telling us the things that are, if we feel bad or if we feel good, it is telling us, it's telling us the truth. We just don't trust it usually. And so it's really just about trusting yourself and your intuition. And then another thing that it disconnects you from, you got fear of judgment and punishment in religion. Basically living in fear versus living in heart coherence. And that's the thing, like we were created in a way that when we live in from our heart coherence, that's why when people say follow your heart, it's more about following your heart than your mind, because your brain will lie to you all day. Like your brain goes off of logic and, programming, subconscious programming. And so it'll lie to you all the time. So you really have to get in touch with your heart center. And a lot of people close that off because they get hurt at a young age. It's all from childhood wounds, like root wounds. And for me, religious programming was a part of that. So in adulthood, it could show up as people pleasing, guilt for wanting more, fear of sensuality or abundance. All of these things play a part. The liberation process. So I began to reprogram my beliefs. I was questioning everything I was taught. I was reconnecting with my heart and my direct connection to source. I was using sacred geometry, meditation, breath work. I use breath work all the time. Mantras. So mantras is more than just saying the mantra. It's about feeling the feelings that come with it as well. So it's about saying it with conviction. Like the way you say things is everything. And your intentions play a big part. So that's another thing I've realized is you got to set intentions for everything, because you are subconsciously setting intentions that you don't realize. So tangible steps. Notice where fear or guilt still controls your actions. Ask, whose belief is this? Replace it with a new truth aligned with unconditional love. And that's the thing I've had to learn, is what is heart-based versus fear-based, because anything fear-based is going to take you down to that low vibration, and you're going to be stuck in those cycles. So You want to stay in that heart center no matter what somebody does to you. I've gone through the worst of the worst with my ex, and I've had to stay heart centered for my life to go better. Because literally, when I was in victim mode and speaking victim language and talking about all the things he was doing to me, it got worse. And then as soon as I became heart-centered and I was talking about him in a more empathetic way, because narcissism is really just the illusion of separation. It is these people are very wounded, and they're suffering, and that is why they do the things that they do. And so it is about feeling compassionate for them, but also having your boundaries strong, because they will. That's the whole point. Like, the whole point in transcending the I'm gonna have to go into that next week. Transcending the narcissist. The whole point in transcending the narcissist is to basically learn how to stay within heart coherence by having love for yourself, the strong boundaries, cutting the energetic cords, and also having empathy for that person as well. And just an example of some affirmations you can say. I've had a bunch of different ones where I have reframes for, but you can say that I am one with source. Love is my natural state. I am love. I come from love. I trust my inner knowing. I trust myself. I love myself. All these different things that you like, look in the mirror, you will start to tear up because you've never done this before. It's going to feel weird. But look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you love you. Like, I love you. And just be have some conviction in it, because chances are a lot of us were not told I love you growing up. We weren't treated with love. And so we became very hardened. But when you start to learn how to love yourself, you're able to open your heart up to abundance in all forms, love, money. We are meant to be provided for. And that was something I actually spoke about in the money wounds live that I did. So here's just an integration practice. Guide a short visualization, breathwork practice. Visualize dissolving the chains of your fear-based beliefs. See yourself standing in radiant golden light. Imagination is everything. If you can imagine it, your brain doesn't know the difference between real life and something that's imagined. So imagine yourself in golden light, your direct connection to the divine. I literally was able to ask why something happened to me, and I was woken up at 3 a.m. and I felt the presence. I felt the love, and I felt the upgrades from the crazy thing that happened to me. It was like a few weeks ago that something happened, and I was able to see and feel the upgrades when I asked myself the right questions, because the answers are there for us. We just have to ask, and it will be given. All right. So, oh yeah, you can use sacred geometry. Sacred geometry has been amazing for me. And my mentor, Anita, she actually does free readings for your sacred geometry signature. And so you could always ask me about that if you want to try that out. And so just some of the questions that I have and reflections are like, what beliefs did you grow up with that you now see differently? Also, just know that liberating yourself from the chains of the programming, it's not rejection of faith, but basically reclaiming sovereignty. And it's all about energetic sovereignty, because we are all energy. And so that's the thing. It's about learning energetic sovereignty. And that's not something that religion teaches. Religious programming kept us. So basically, this is just in closing. Religious programming kept us in fear. Spiritual sovereignty brings us back to love. And literally, I've been able to stay in more love for myself and others since I've been in this space than ever before. When I was a Christian, I've always liked helping people, but I always was the overgiver. I gave from a half empty cup. But now I'm able to do so much more from a full cup. And so if you want, you can join my heart-centered leadership community. I have all the heart-centered leadership for women in business and leadership. And I have that group on Facebook. I also have, let's see. Oh, I'm also going to come out with a school community as well. I'm going to have a school community, so it'll be free so that we can just talk more about the spiritual awakening, the religious programming, whatever it is that you guys want to talk about. I'm here for all the question and answer. And then anyone who wants to join these live sessions, you can always join and we can have like healthy debates, whatever it is. We can have a healthy debate. We can just talk more about it. You can ask more questions, because I have been able to do a lot of work as far as my subconscious patterns go. I've been able to do a lot of inner work. And so the fact that I've been able to work on my patterns, I'm now at a higher intuitive level to where I can see other people's patterns as well and help them through, break through. So I'm here for you guys. I'm going to be here every Friday. I might change it to 7 p.m. though every Friday now, because Fridays are they are kind of hectic for me, but I like the heart-centered Fridays. So what I'm going to do is next Friday, I'll probably change it to 7 p.m. And then, just keep going from there. All right. Well, you guys have a great night.